through the Deutsche Bank informant, I was alerted to the idea that they're going to possibly create like an internet virus that would attack the banking system. You know, like they're using Flame and Sthf. And there's a new cousin of these two that is going around Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And what they would do was, on a Friday afternoon, they would say, well, we have to shut down the banking system because there's a virus in all the banks. You won't be able to use your ATMs over the weekend, but on Monday morning you'll be fine. Well, if you hear of anything like that, you have 72 hours before they roll out martial law.
So wait a minute, Suzanne, you're saying that if you see anything like that in the news media or otherwise, you have 72 hours? Why don't you repeat that, help people understand what that means?
Well, if you hear of anything like that, you have 72 hours before
the
they
Bank of
roll
Albuquerque
out.
is doing a preparedness drill on February 15th and February 16th. Now, here's the odd part, is that banks don't normally do disaster preparedness drills. They're normally drills are carried out by FEMA, state agencies, federal agencies, and I've never seen a banking institution carry out any type of drill. I've seen banks close to prevent bank runs and these types of things in the past, especially during the banking crisis of 07 and 08. It says it's going to go from 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturday, February 15th, and run through Sunday. Looks like most of the banking infrastructure will be in place for remote ATM deposits and that type of thing. But again, this is really odd because banks don't normally do these types of things. And the question I'm putting out there is, what do they know that we don't? Why would they go ahead and prep for a disaster? And is this indicative of something a larger scale? So I'm asking you, go out, contact your bank, find out if they plan on participating in anything similar to
this. The real question you need to ask yourself is, your money safe? Is it safe at the bank? Especially the too big to fail banks, which you shouldn't be doing business with at all. If you are, you're supporting a criminal financial cartel that continues to steal from you and enslave millions of people around the world through trillions of dollars worth of bank bailouts. This is a very interesting article I first picked up on Reddit. It's also, you can find it here at pbs.org, saying, making sense. Is your money safe at the bank? Is it safe at Bankrupt of America? A Harvard economist says no and withdraws over $1 million. Terry Burnham, former Harvard economics professor, author of Mean Genes and Mean Markets and Lizard Brains, provocative poster on this page and longtime critic of the Federal Reserve, argues that the Fed's efforts to strengthen America's banks have perversely weakened them. He says, last week I had over $1 million in a checking account at Bank of America. Next week, I will have 10,000. And he goes on to tell why, and like many others, are taking their money out of the bank, and banks like the too big to fails that are Bankrupt of America in droves. The question is, how close to a bank run are we when we have Harvard economists pulling all of their assets, these high net worth individuals, all of their assets out of these Bitcoiners going to jail for money laundering while the big banks walk? Of course, BitInstant CEO, we reported on this last week, Charlie Shrem, along with alleged co-conspirator Robert Fiala, was arrested by federal authorities last week for allegedly laundering more than $1 million worth of Bitcoins. This is a tiny amount compared to the largest drug and terrorism money laundering case ever seen. Yet when British bank HSBC was found guilty in 2012 of laundering billions, the firm paid a fine of $1.9 billion. Nobody went to jail, there was no arrests, and HSBC still turned a $13.5 billion profit that year. In fact, Rolling Stone, and I'm a fan of Matt Taibbi, detailed the crimes of the HSBC fraud and money laundering. Says it included tens of thousands of murders and laundering of money for Al-Qaeda and Hezbollah. By contrast, Silk Road users have only been shown to have bought and sold drugs, and of course a small fraction of total Bitcoin use. So you need to ask this question. Not only are bank runs on the horizon, and we've seen them before. We saw them in 2008. Now we have Harvard economists withdrawing their entire bank accounts because they can't get any interest. I mean, why would you have a deposit at a company that's a too big to fail bank and then get 0%?
It may or may not be relevant, but the Reserve Bank of New Zealand is also running a drill, a maintenance window drill, on these same dates. And it says the maintenance window occurs on Saturday or Sunday and covers the work to the network, Sthf, power, building, etc. Sthf, the international banking facility used by the global currencies.
Saturday the 15th till Tuesday, the following Tuesday, for 62 hours. Scheduled maintenance is what they're saying. What timing, right? Well, it's happening, and since they're not putting it on the evening news and sending people emails and alerts, I'm putting this video out to let people know. And no one's going to know. If the evening news doesn't say this, hardly anyone's going to know because it's buried here in a Yahoo News section from Reuters. The Obama administration said on Monday they were hoping to enroll in health care coverage for the 1st of March. And people that were having trouble applying by Saturday's deadline because of the planned, this is where it slipped out, 62-hour maintenance shutdown. It slipped out right there. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that this headline isn't about Social Security shutting down itself. It's about it affecting healthcare.gov. If healthcare.gov wasn't getting affected here, they would make no mention of Social Security. We wouldn't even know that this was going on.
The world has known traditional ATMs like these ever since they were invented back in the mid-1960s, where you punch in a code to confirm it's you and then pull real cash backed by a government authority. But by the end of this January, this city, Asia's financial hub of Hong Kong, will get its very first Bitcoin ATM. This is what it looks like. Its maker told me how it works.
Tap Buy Bitcoin on the kiosk, enter in $100, and scan your mobile wallet, and boom, you have Bitcoin. It's as easy as that.
That process makes it faster for you to buy Bitcoin in person than online, like through Mt. Gox, the world's largest Bitcoin exchange, where verification can take a few days.
We've solved for that with biometric authentication, plus government ID scanning, plus facial matching technology. It gives people the ability to buy within minutes.
Your Bitcoins are stored in your digital wallet.
Once Bitcoin is in your digital wallet, you can buy real-world stuff and avoid credit card or transfer fees. If you're a gamer, Zynga this month started experimenting with Bitcoin purchases on Farmville 2 and other games. If you're traveling, you can get Hyatt and Marriott hotel rooms if you buy gift cards with your Bitcoins. Popular crowdsource website coinmap.org tells you if there's a nearby retailer that takes the virtual currency. But Bitcoin is hardly accepted everywhere and risks are high.
Because Bitcoin is so new and we're very early on in the adoption curve, the risk is that it could potentially go to zero. So, 5 years from now, it could be worth a lot of money, or it could just be kind of an enthusiast virtual currency that's worth tens of dollars, a couple $100, if that.
Case in point, in 2013, the value of one Bitcoin rocketed from $13 to $1,200. But when China clamped down on Bitcoins in December, its value plunged 50%. Bitcoin seems like it will stick around, at least in the short term. Kelly aims to put more ATMs in Asia, Europe, Canada, and the United States by mid-February. So if you pass by a Bitcoin ATM, sure, check it out, but think really hard if you want to stick to the safety of real-world cash, or if you want to dabble in the risk and potential reward of virtual coin.
Hi everybody, today is February 4th, 2014. U.S. could default on debt by end of February, America's Treasury Secretary. They're blaming it on the tax refunds. The United States federal government could default on its obligations and debt very soon, the Obama administration warned Monday. The U.S. is near the part where the government runs out of room to borrow money under a legal cap on the public debt. Treasury Secretary Jack Lew confirmed that the U.S. is going to reinstate a debt limit at the end of the week, and the administration can utilize accounting schemes to stay under the new cap until the end of this month. Once those methods are completed, when the government would spend its remaining reserve rather quickly, because at this time of the year it's short on cash due to tax refunds. Without borrowing authority at some point very soon, it would not be possible to meet all the obligations of the federal government. But soon after, the U.S. will only be able to pay its debts and other obligations with cash on hand. In the spring, Mr. Lew noted, the U.S. issues tax refunds to Americans who overpaid income taxes last year, straining its cash reserves. While the national debt is more than $17 trillion, but some economists say that figure is more likely to be between 70 and 200 trillion if you account for unfunded liabilities and expenditures.
Friday afternoon, they would say they're going to shut down the banks and get rid of this virus over the weekend. And on Monday morning, everything would be back up. Over the weekend, you wouldn't be able to use your ATM or pay any bills online, but everything will be fine on Monday morning. That is your red flag. You have 72 hours from that moment to do whatever you were planning on doing, get to wherever you were planning on getting to, hunker down whatever you were planning on hunkering down, because they're going to unroll martial law in 72 hours from that moment, whatever scenario they intend to unroll. And I believe that it has to do with the bank.
This week, I went to a meeting in Manhattan in the freezing cold. But when I came out of that meeting, I was frozen. Not from the bitter temperatures, but from fear. I learned things that no one is talking about. Things that can change my life, your life, and the lives of everyone you know forever. Doing the right thing for you and me are interfering with the ability to protect our way of life. Who of us could ever envision a 9/11 happening? But the difference between 9/11 and what I'm about to tell you is that we know this can happen. The question is not will it happen, but when will it happen? And forget about your bank accounts. What you have in your pocket is all you can access.
Welcome to Bank of America. Please say or enter your telephone access ID.
At Bank of America, your security is our priority. We apologize for the delay, and we appreciate your patience. We try to give all our customers as much attention and assistance as they need.
Thank you so much for calling Bank of America. My name is Hossein. May I please have your first and last name?
I'm just going to give you my first name, Frida. I am a customer, but I just have a couple of general questions.
Okay.
That don't specifically hit my account.
Okay, ma'am, please go ahead.
I heard a rumor this morning that the Bank of America is stopping purchases made with the cards, the Bank of America cards, on ammo and gun sales. Is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Can you tell me what this policy is? Like, how long is this temporary? What's the deal?